Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we're at the start of a new Kit Quest career mode in kind of a little bit throwback, I guess. It kind of is honestly a throwback at this point because it's like 6 years old. FIFA 19. This is my first time actually playing FIFA 19, so it's going to be an interesting experience. But yeah, we're playing here, as you can see, as Everton. And you can see there in the top left-hand corner of the screen, our kind of FGO manager for this is Kiyohime, which I guess is kind of a surprise in the sense that like I have kind of been bouncing around a little bit in terms of like the FGO managers because I've been skipping like the kit quests for a lot of them because a lot of the players, it's ones I want to do are kind of FC 25 ones. I'm trying to wait to the end of the FC this 24-25 season IRL, which we are still a couple months away from. So kind of ones that have been available I can do. I'm doing now. Some of those older ones, depending on how close I get to the end of running out of people from Orleans, I'll probably end up doing, might have to rethink some of those, try to get them done so I can move on to Septum, but we'll see with that. But yeah, so Kiyohime here is the manager, our FGO manager for this one. I see we're playing as Everton, and the reason why, which you get into, I guess the player focus for this one and the kit. If you go to the squad hub here, I want to let me, doesn't let you like scroll over. Jeez Louise, that's annoying. So I gotta go scroll all the way to the bottom. Where'd I go? Where'd he go? There he go. There he is. Is Pombo, the Pombo himself, Charles? They're sponsored by Angry Birds. I didn't realize that they're ever. Is that actually real? Hold on, I'm pulling this up on their kit history page. I didn't notice that. Are they actually sponsored? Were they actually sponsored by Angry Birds that year? Oh my God, they were sponsored by Angry Birds. That is. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I did not realize that. That's pretty funny. Everton were sponsored by Angry Birds. I didn't realize like Angry Birds is like a thing in like 20, I guess was like 20 fall 28, 2018, 2019. Jeez, man, that's like whoa. Well, that was a little sidetrack, but yeah, Richarlison here, the Pombo himself, the pigeon, is the player of focus for this one. Reasoning being kind of one, kind of twofold problems with Kiyohime as the FGO manager. Number one, her ID number is 56, and like that's a god awful number for football. Like if I go, where's my, is it this one? No, it's the legacy numbers. No, no. Actually, hold on. Sorry for being like so distracted. Okay, history, squad number history. Here we go. Let me pull this up in my like 50 windows I have open on my computer. Let's scroll down here to the number 56. There's been 3 players who have worn the number 56, allegedly, in Tottenham history, who are Janeel Bennett, who is like young. He's like only 23. He doesn't play anymore. It seems like his last season was with Crew Alexandra in 21-22, so he's kind of not anything of note. And then another kind of prospecty kind of guy that like barely. I don't know if he actually ever made a senior appearance for Tottenham. Stats, all seasons. By club, Tottenham Hotspur show. Yeah, he literally made a single 15-minute, looks like cameo appearance in. However you, what am I missing? Oh, these are like different seasons. That's why. Yeah, he made a single cameo appearance against Vitesse in the Conference League under. I'm guessing that was under Nuno. So I think Nuno got sacked in November. Yeah, I think that was under Nuno. And then a goalkeeper from like way back in the day who still actually plays apparently for Portsmouth, Jordan Archer. He's now 31. He plays for Portsmouth allegedly. It seems like not they played like a bunch of clubs. But yeah, so do you actually even make any stats all seasons? All clubs. Tottenham Hotspur, show. I don't think he literally ever made a senior appearance for Tottenham, like at all. Yeah. Looks like he was on the bench for like a couple of matches and like in this, but like yeah, he's literally on the bench. It looks like for their match against Swansea in 2012-13 season, which wasn't the season he allegedly had that number. And then the 2013-14 season, he wasn't like he wasn't in the like yeah he like made that squad and then he made a handful of squads in the 2013-14 season in the Europa League for he made like one, two, three, four, five squads there. So he never made a senior appearance for Tottenham. So that's like number 56. They're like basically like those three options to choose from and none other, and none of those are particularly like good options at all because they only made looks like one, maybe like a couple. Actually, hold on. Yeah. Now that I've basically gone through all this effort, we're going back and we're looking at Janelle Bennett's page and seeing how many senior appearances he made for Spurs. Because I've done it for all the other ones. Let's see, all clubs, actually Tottenham. And transfer market load up here. Yeah, he made literally like a single 9-minute cameo appearance in that same, I think it was at the same, yeah, in the Conference League qualifier. So he like made it, and like he literally was in that same season. The other guy made his appearance in, which wasn't the season he was allegedly wearing that number, 56 either. So that yeah, he literally made a single appearance at the 9-minute cameo appearance in the loss to Pacos Ferreira in the qualifying round in the Conference League under Nuno. So yeah, so like those terrible options. And the other thing then is like to try and do it by nationality of the FGO manager, which we've done a decent amount in terms of like French clubs and French players for like the past couple of kit quests. They're like John and Jalter and all that other stuff. But then the problem with that becomes the only Japanese player to ever play for Spurs was Kazuyuki Toda, who is like seems like a pretty interesting guy. Is a profile picture on Transfer Market is him with like red like red as in like the red crayon like hair. But he like I think he literally made like four appearances for Spurs in like 2003 or 2004 or so. So that's like way too old in terms of like getting a FIFA for that and stuff. I don't even know if those FIFAs had career mode in them because I think like Angelo 4 was the first one that had like dynasty mode and stuff. And then two, then like less of his career was spent in like Japan and other small leagues up until like the end of 2013. And those leagues weren't in like I don't think any of the leagues were in like those older FIFAs. So that kind of eliminates that. And then also, and then like if I was trying to go more modern, like and it's hard because like aren't too many Japanese like that, as he was the only Japanese player to play for Spurs and stuff. And then like potentially like Spurs players going and playing in the J League would be a problem because I think like the most recent FIFA that had the J League in it was FIFA 22. So yeah, that kind of creates a host of problems there. And then also like in just in general, getting J League kits is extremely difficult if you don't live in Japan because like it's just very difficult in terms of like they don't really have like a lot of the clubs like the online shops don't ship to the US, so you need like a package forwarding service and stuff and all that good stuff. Which especially then for trying to go like older kits like 2013 and older, it's probably gonna be like almost impossible to find. So is that like the Sandro like that played for Spurs also? Considering he's 22, I'm gonna guess it's not. But he looks rough for a 22-year-old. My goodness. I'm actually gonna look this up. So you just notice that. So this is what happens. You don't go in like fully prepared here. Oh, he's on loan, so I'm gonna have to move. Open a new tab. Go to on loan, and then type in Sandro. Yeah, here we go. This is on Sandro Castillo. This is not this. Okay, this guy was not the Sandro I thought it potentially might have been. Okay, so ignore that quick side note here. Put this back on. Richarlison. Yeah, so the player focus here is Richarlison here. This is 2018-19 was his first season at Everton. He was kind of, I think, because like the whole thing is from my research going into this, because this is before I started watching football again, is it seems like Marco Silva was the manager of Watford in 2017-18. He then became the Everton manager. after Big Sam, I guess, got sacked or left Everton. Marco Silva became manager of Everton, beginning the 2018-19 season, and Richarlison kind of came with him from Watford to Everton for like a pretty hefty fee at the time. Like it's like still pretty. I think it's like in the top fee three of like Everton fees ever. Yeah, it's still third, like the third most expensive signing Everton's ever made at 39.2 million euros. The calculation for pounds on that you can do yourself because I don't know the conversion rate offhand, but I think it's probably less than that. It's like closer to like 30 million pounds if I had to guess. But yes, he's like their third biggest signing ever. It still is. It still, I guess, still is in that sense. And that season, the whole reason why we're doing this season is that he was at Everton for a good chunk of seasons. Richie is because he, according to Wikipedia here, he was Everton's young player of the season for that season. So he was what 21 it says here I think on the screen. Yeah, 21. So he was Everton's young player of the season that year. He was like tied for the club leading goals in both the Premier League and all competitions with a certain someone. And yeah, so Richarlison there, kind of individual honor. The whole reason why Richarlison, I guess, is like the reasoning I usually go is like kind of like number or country or based or whatever, because those aren't really a thing. Kind of like we did with Kiyohime for the Arizona Coyote series, which just finished. This was the series prior to this one. Kind of instead of doing a randomizer, I really just went and looked at the kind of stack of soccer cards I have sitting on my little coffee table here in my apartment. Sorry for the yawn. And the top card is it's like one of those like ones where it's not like like traditional like trading cards like sports like trading cards like has like the player's name and the stats bunch. It's like one of those like actually like trading card like games, kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or whatever, but like some sort of soccer version of one of those kind of things. And the top card on my pile is Goodison Park, which R.I.P. Goodison Park. It's going to be in its final months of existence at Everton's home. But yeah, so Goodison Park was at the top, and I was like, all right, I can work with that. It's Everton Stadium, obviously. And I was like, all right, I can work with that. First play that popped into my head, obviously, is Richarlison here, and I was like, he's got a bit of a fiery kind of personality. He's got a, he does that. He'll like, shit house and do all of that kind of like stuff on the pitch. Not as much really in his Tottenham career, because I guess he's been dealing with injuries most of his Tottenham career. But like I think from like at Everton or other clubs, he was like big into shit housing, a bit of fiery personality and all that stuff, especially during like the Merseyside derbies and stuff. So I was like, that kind of tracks and vibes the whole Kiyohime story that she really turned into like a lizard dragon thing and like incinerated the monk inside the bell at the monastery. So I was like, all right, that's kind of good enough reasoning for me, and we'll go with it. So yes, that's how we kind of roundabout came to Richarlison as the player of focus here. And the kit, conveniently enough, I guess is his home kit because as he said, he scored 14 goals that season in all competitions. And thanks to a nice little compilation of pretty much all his goals at Everton on YouTube, I was able to like figure out like how many were scored in each kit that season, and 10 of his goals were scored in the home kit, 1 goal in the away kit, and 3 in the third kit. So by like a bit of a landslide there, the home kit was the one he scored the most goals in, which kind of makes sense considering in football, clubs need to wear the home kit like 95% of the time unless they like absolutely have to wear something else. So that kind of makes sense there. And it's blue and white, and that kind of vibes the key to Hime's look a little as well. Yes, it fits. Yes, Richarlison is player focus here. And I kind of just to wrap up wrap things up here because I've been rambling and ambling a bit here, so making this longer than it probably should be. The formation stuff, yeah, like the 4-2-3-1 wide here is pretty much what I'm going with based on a video which is much more recent than 2018-19. It's like Marco Silva's Fulham tactics, using like a channel I've used before, like for the last couple that I have 2 channels I usually get my tactics kind of from, and kind of the link to that will be in the description there. So I'm going to try and see, because I don't really know how the systems have changed from FIFA 19 to FIFA 20, FC 24, FC 25, which I'm more familiar with. See how so I'll try and translate those back as I can. Link to that video will be in the description if you want to try and kind of see where I got the tactics from. Sorry. And if you want to kind of replicate them yourself, if you're doing like a career mode with Marco Silva as the manager, so like an Everton or a Fulham or something like that. Yeah, so Richie is player of focus, and I guess we'll kind of just quickly to wrap up. Is this the thing? Okay, there's the transfer hub, standings and scores. Is it like the office section? Season calendar, other league standings, settings, team stats, player stats, office. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, ignore because I guess FIFA 19 was before you could like make your manager a woman. So even like my attempts usually at looking at them, making them look like the person they're supposed to be are usually pretty abysmal. So we're playing as I guess this dude here. I guess I was like I don't know, I'll pick a guy. He looks I guess seems to be I guess Asian. So Kyuhime is supposed to be from Japan. So it kind of I guess fits there. So let's quickly just wrap up, ignoring that kind of weird tangent there, and look at the board objectives to wrap up here. So youth objective, make a 2.6 million profit from youth player sales. That shouldn't be a problem. Assuming the youth academy thing is the thing in this game, which I guess it must be. I can just sign a couple youth players and flip them for cash. That's not a hard thing. Brand exposure, gained 44 billion pounds from shirt sales in one season. So I guess this season you have to make 44 million shirt sales. So if we're kind of popping off and Richie's banging in the goal, which hopefully he will be, you should we should fill that. Long term within 3 seasons, increase season ticket holders with it. What does that mean? I guess does that just basically increase season? That's a weird way of wording it, I guess. Yeah, that's a weird way of saying it. It's basically just saying to increase season ticket holders by 10%, which that's a weird one I've never seen before. I guess it's from the older game here. So I assume as long as we're successful here, that should be a thing. We shouldn't have any problems. Financial reduce player wages by 8,800 pounds a week. That's a very small amount, but okay. That should be a problem because we get so low. He's sorry. And so sorry for this yawning. I really apologize. But yes, that should be a problem. Like moving players around, should be able to reduce the wages by that, especially if I like send some players on loan. That'll be easy. Domestic success, Premier League finish in a Europa League spot. I think Everton finished 8th under Marco Silva in 2018-19, if I remember from my research. Yeah, they finished 8th, which I think was not a Europa League qualification spot. I think that was 2 below. 1 below. Looks like Wolves in 7th got into the Europa League second qualifying round. So I guess I don't know how that's going to work per se because I'm guessing that might be different things. Ah, okay. So that basically the reason that Wolves in 7th got that for, looking at this Wikipedia page, is because Man City qualified for the Champions League, I guess, by winning the league. And they also, wait, did they do the triple that year? Hold on. The treble? Yeah, they did. Manchester City. Yeah, so they did the treble that year again. Is that right? Hold on. Honors. Let's look at your stupid honors. Domestic 2018-19, they won the league. They won the FA Cup, and they had the League Cup. Yes, they did the treble in 2018-19, like they did a couple seasons ago as well. But yes, they won both cups and I guess finished first. So then like the two kind of like, oh, if you win the FA Cup, you get Europa League, and then because the Conference League didn't exist at this point, the EFL Cup winners also kind of got like a lesser kind of, you had to do the qualifying stuff for Europa League. Those got bounced down to 6th and 7th, where I guess traditionally only the 5th place team will get Europa League. So that'll be somewhat of a challenge here. But I guess we can fingers crossed that something similar happens and like one of the big clubs gets like top 4 and then wins like both the trophies, and we can kind of, assuming the game works like that, we should get Europa League that way by finishing like 6th or 7th. FA Cup, they want us to reach the round of 16. That shouldn't be too hard. And then long term, within 2 seasons, they want us to finish top 4 at some point. Yikes, that's a bit of a yikes considering Everton ended up being relegation fodder these past couple of years. And then short term qualify, the same thing here. That's a weird way to do that, but okay, it's like there twice basically. Well, I guess like what the second was basically kind of like, I guess if I like win the FA Cup and qualify for the Europa League that way, like it would fulfill this one, but not this one. I guess I don't know, but yeah. So in terms of kind of the board, to wrap up here again, as I kind of said, season Everton finished eighth, so that's kind of where roundabouts where we should finish this season. Because as I said, like as I typically do in these first seasons, I try and like match the like results pretty much as 1-to-1 as possible as I can. So we should kind of finish there, and so hopefully we don't get the sack for not completing war objectives. We should complete kind of the financial and other ones. That much problems, hopefully. So should be okay in that sense. But yeah, kind of wrap it up here. I guess that's kind of it. Kind of introduce the kit quest as a whole here, and the player focus is Richarlison, Richie, and the kit focus is the home kit, this nice blue Umbro kit here. So yeah, thank you for watching this kind of long and somewhat rambly video that went way too long. But so if anyone actually made it to the end here, thank you for watching, and hopefully you check out the next episode, which will be the 2018-19 season recap as well. Thank you.